All right, welcome everybody. So can you see my screen okay? I guess. Okay, you see it? Okay, good deal. All right, so branding and marketing, so we're gonna go over in this climb class tonight. It's definitely one of my favorite topics. If you guys listen to my journey, my story, I have a marketing background, and if you know me at all, I'm very anal about design and images and how things come across in social media and how being professional is so important, and I'm really just picky about what I put out to my network. So I'm just going to give you guys some insights into what goes on in my crazy head whenever I'm putting my brand together and what I'm putting out to social media. Your brand is derived from who you are, who you want to be, and who people perceive you to be. So this is kind of a course I usually present to my team in a week. I'm going to jam pack it tonight. So take lots of notes. I really, really do. This can change like the whole trajectory of your business if you would take action items on the things that I mentioned. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So part one, attracting your ideal client or business partner. Okay, so how are you going to attract them? First, you need to determine who your ideal client and business partner is. Okay, and you're thinking, well, that's anybody who wants great skin or wants a business. Well, no, we need to be really specific here. Okay, so once you can figure out who your ideal client is, you can target your marketing efforts specifically to them. Okay, so for me personally, my ideal consultant who joins my team is going to be one who's a busy mom who maybe juggles many hats. Maybe they're working now or they did work at one time. Maybe they've just lost their drive or ambition, but they still have that strong underlying motivation to make a change in their life. They just need a little push and self-confidence boost, and they need me to show them how to make that change. That's who I'm marketing. Pretty specific, okay? So I want you to answer these questions about your business partners. What kind of men or women do you love working with? Why do you like working with them? And what kind of person is not a good fit for you? Okay, now you know who you want to work with. The second part is figuring out how to attract them to you. Okay, so we need to know where they hang out. What social media are they using? Are they using Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat? For me, I don't think my ideal client's probably hanging out on LinkedIn, but I would say they're definitely on Facebook and Snapchat, which is something I need to familiarize myself with a little bit better. But and then what about me is different? That's going to appeal to my target market. Okay, and then how am I going to sell to them? Are they going to be on Facebook Messenger, or do I need to call them, or do they think texting would be better? We have to figure all this out. Okay, then you're going to find your voice. So when you're looking to start, or in our case here, build our business bigger, we want to always conform to the people around us. We always want to blend in with everyone else because we have that fear that if we're different, we'll be judged. And yes, even if you have maybe a really good self-confidence, that fear is always going to be there. Okay, but we cannot do that. We have to be ourselves. Okay, so you can probably maybe even done this today. When's the last time you copy and pasted a post that you saw another R&F consultant make that you're like, oh, I like that, I'm going to post that? No, we are not doing that anymore. Okay, we have to be ourselves. What blends in gets forgotten, but what stands out gets remembered. Okay, so we need to find your voice and share it with the world. Okay, so 3 questions to help you find your voice. I want you to describe your business in 3 to 5 words. Not like a phrase, but different words to describe your business and what you do and what you believe in. What words are they? What other brand voices do you admire? People that you follow on Facebook or that you like, or maybe have a similar, just belief and stuff that you do. Then whenever you're interacting with your market, how do you want them to feel? Okay, whenever they're interacting with your marketing and your content. So overall, you're looking for adjectives to help shape your brand voice. Okay. Part 3 is standing out from the crowd. All right, so our Facebook timeline is incredibly saturated. We know that. So we have everything from games and people talking politics, and we have all these RNF consultants going on everywhere, you know, and then there's people marketing their business, whether it's photographers or body coaches or RNFers, whatever it is. We need to stand out, because what if you have overlapping networks with another RNF consultants? How are you standing out? Okay, we need to distinguish ourselves from the other competitors out there who are in the same social media timeline that we are. Okay, so here's 4 ways to stand out from the crowd, and just kind of just be aware. These are small tweaks that this is a journey. You're going to need to start making in your marketing and your appearance on social media. So number 1 is easy. It's just be accessible. So make sure in your Facebook or wherever you have your social about pages, make sure they include rating in the fields. Make sure that's the first thing that pops up whenever you go to somebody's, you like go to your own page. Oh, Kristin, she's Rainier Fields consultant or whatever. Make sure your websites are on there. You know, an email, just some way that they can connect you. If they like your post, they know how to get a hold of you. Okay. And number 2 is just create a distinct brand. That's what we're gonna dive into shortly. You need a brand. No, you are the brand, so you should treat yourself as you would any client. Use consistent language, images, style in all the communications that you put out. So it's gonna, it all goes back to who you are and using the right images. We'll get into this. We're gonna set up a color, a font palette, you know, for everything that you're putting out, whether it's business cards, emails, or social media profiles. Bottom line is we have to take, you know, you have to take your brand seriously. So we have to get rid of the profile pictures of our pets or maybe our cute babies. We love them, but we're committing, like Sarah talked about, we're committing to putting our brands and our business front and center. Okay. And that starts with a really good headshot of yourself, so everyone can see you, your pretty self in their timeline. Number 3 is customer service. Of course, we all know that. Make your customers feel like, you know, they're your top priority. Keep that trust alive. And then number 4 is just positive attitude. I can't say this one enough. People do not want to work with people who are bitching on Facebook or complaining about this and that. No one wants to see you bad-mouthing others, or especially competitors on social media. Our company always says integrity beyond reproach, always. So if you need to complain, do it privately with your husband or a friend or an upline. But when it comes to like your overall brand presence, you've got to be this positive promoter and stay in your like joyful bubble. I know it might be hard sometimes, but you're going to make more friends. You're going to attract more people and find more clients this way. So just remember, you know, you never know who's watching you and whether you're going to cross paths with them someday. And, you know, for me personally, you're never going to find me on social media, you know, shoving religion or politics or anything like I'm not going to be spreading my opinion on any of that. It's not good for my business personally. So take that offline. Okay, so keeping all that in mind, what makes your brand different? How are you going to be different? All right, so here we go. All right, this is where it gets a little bit more fun. So this is the fun stuff. Okay, so tagline. We all know that companies have taglines, but so can personal brands. Okay, so we're gonna talk about taglines. So this is like your little short sentence of an elevator pitch. So it's the 1 sentence statement about what you do. So think of your tagline as the biggest clue in the smallest amount of words into what you do and how people can buy your products and join you. But it's just a clue. We're not vomiting what we do onto people, okay? So it needs to be simple, clear, and straightforward. For me, I've built mine. It says, I coach women on how to build self-confidence in their business and their life. And then my follow-up sentence says, I help other women entrepreneurs design a life filled with purpose, okay? So the way we come up with that is, what do you do? Now, don't be literal. I don't sell skincare. You know, think of what do you really do on a day-to-day basis, and who do you do it for? That's the 2 things that are going to make up your brand tagline, okay? Pretty simple, right? So just be like, you might want to start with a paragraph of what you do and then take out words so you can really, really condense it down. And those, I mean, this is where I put it in my, you know, Instagram about, my Facebook about, people need to know what you're doing. I don't put in there that I offer premium skincare to the world and yada, 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 yada. It's just, to me, I just think it needs to be a little bit more general. Okay, so brand fonts. You guys might think like, oh, that's great for the design person, but it does really matter, all right? And we're gonna get into your social media posting in a second. And if anybody follows me on social media, you'll see that this is exactly what I do. So font, typeface is another word for fonts. And the effect they create is going to frame your entire brand visually to your audience, okay? Which means it's important to match fonts that match your brand voice. That's why we have to figure out who we are, and then we're going to put this all together. So if you're like fun and lighthearted, then you're going to choose, you know, casual, informal fonts. So here's a cute little pair me up, how to match fonts. So if you're more professional, you know, use fonts that reflect that. You can see this pairing guide. So you can combine, you know, like a serif font and a sans serif font. You know, contrast is good, but don't combine like two similar font styles. Don't mix different moods. Don't be like chunky and curly. But you can mix different weights of fonts in the same family. So whenever we're going to start making our own social media posts, we want to choose 2 to 3 that you're always working with, okay? No more. And then I also have a 10 commandment sheet I'm going to share with you after this class too. And then free fonts, links for all the fonts that you'll ever want. So you can download them to your computer so they're readily accessible whenever you start making your posts. So there's professional or casual or business or feminine. Okay, so here's an example of the fonts that I use in my marketing right now. I love the brushed font look, and then I love the simple lines, and I always use that one in capitals. This is my brand. This is what I'm using right now, and it's me. So use 2 to 3 fonts and stick with those. Okay. All right. Colors. Besides font, this is my second favorite. Everyone needs brand colors. All right. You may be thinking, well, I'm just going to use Rodan & Fields colors. Those, you know, I'm just an extension of them, so I'll just use their colors. Well, no, Rodan & Fields is its own brand company. You need to, you know, people need to be attracted to you first. Anybody can go buy Rodan & Fields from people, but why are they going to buy it from you? Why do they feel related to you and comfortable with you? So many of us know, you know, red is like power and energy, you know, and yellow's like the mind and intellect, and purple's imagination. So there's ways that colors evoke emotions, but, you know, don't let, you know, that color psychology is meant to like guide your choices, but don't rule them. So like right now, what do you, probably you're not using anything right now. You're just like finding like, oh, that's a great picture. I'm going to post about that. But you need to come up with a color palette, is like I say. You know, what are you drawn to right now? Look around your home office or your space that you work, or your wardrobe or your house. What colors do you use most often? What are you attracted to? And you want to create a generate a color palette for your brand. Okay, so going back to my brand, this picture right here, I like textures in my color palette. So I love the gray. I love the neutrals, but I love like the soft pinks and sometimes lavenders. And you guys like me to think I'm crazy, but this all comes together in the end. But I also love, like, of this stock photo, a little glam. Like, yeah, I can get dressed up every once in a while to go to Alexa's party or something, but most of the time I'm going to be in jeans and a nice top, probably not in heels most of the time, never, no, I'll have my Uggs on. But so the people that I put into my brand marketing needs to reflect that. So when I'm posting about this chick, you know, anyone that I have in my post, like this girl right here, this is exactly what I would be wearing one day. With the gold, I'm like in love with gold jewelry and the watches and stuff like that. So that's who I'm going to be reflected in my brand marketing. So All right, so come up with your palette. Go to coolors.co. It's COOLORS. It's actually colors, but spelled coolers. COOLORS.co. It's a super fun site to play around with and come up and develop your own palette. Like, I could stay on that site for hours. It's really, really fun. Okay, so I want you to go there and find your palette. You want to come up with 3 to 4 colors that you're going to consistently be bringing out in your marketing. Okay. All right. So stock images. I'm sure everyone's like, where does Kristin get all these images from? Okay. I'm not around here taking pictures of all this stuff and finding models. No. I'm actually part of a paid stock photography site. Now, not everyone needs to be doing that. So there's great sites for free photos. So before I was doing the paid, I'm actually still getting tons of images from this site, but it's called Free Pick. It's free PIK. Don't spell that wrong or you'll end up on a pornography site. But it's freepik.com, Free Pick. Another one is pexels.com, PEXELS.com. So those are going to be free images. I think that finding the right images are just as important as finding the right fonts and colors. So, you know, these images have to have similar colors to your palette that you choose, the same vibe that goes along with your brand, whether you're the casual or the professional or whimsical or whatever. So it just needs to bring together your personality and your style. So they might be called mock photos, or you'll see a lot. I use a lot of like desktop mock photos, or a lot of them are just called stock images. So that's the terms. Another thing is just selfies. Like, people want to see you, your face. So take as many selfies as you can. It gets uncomfortable, but that's what you have to do to get yourself out there. So here's just to give you an example of, this is my brand that I've created. This is my Pinterest board for my brand. So anytime I make a post using my brand marketing, I pin it so it's all comes together. But you can see how it all flows. It has the same palette. It has, like, yes, I drink a lot of coffee. You know, I'm like a paper person, but it has like the same flow and the same font styles and stuff like that. So you can kind of get an idea. Okay, now after you do all that, I want you to take all the information that you've collected. So you have your font and you have your palettes and you have your color, what you want to do or what you're attracted to from part 1 to 7. And now I want you to set it aside. Okay. Now I want you to take a quiz on finding your brand archetype. I don't even know how you say that. I think it's spelled archetype. But anyway, okay. Go to this site. This chick is awesome. She's out of Italy. She does a lot of marketing stuff that I've been a part of. So your brand archetype is how you're assigned to your brand. So it's based upon symbolism. It's about, anchoring your brand against something that's iconic, something already embedded into the conscious and subconscious of people, so they can connect you with something else that they know of already. Okay, so for me, after I took this quiz, see this color palette? Isn't it really, really weird? Okay, so my personal archetype is royalty. And what that means is my goal is to create a prosperous, successful community of people who look up to you and lead by example. Okay, so my goal is that. It says my weakness is unable to connect with my audience. My talents are responsibility and leadership. And my customers feel if I follow her, I'll share her success. Like they have good taste, enthralled, and admiration. Okay, so just reading that from there. But when you look at this, I took this after I created my brand, and I was like, holy crap, like that's me. So I know this is spot on, and everyone who has taken this archetype has had the same experience. So do the part 1 to 7, come up with your palette, and then take this quiz, and we need to all bring it together. Okay, so if it's not exactly the same, we're going to find a happy medium. I think it's awesome. I'm in love with this archetype stuff. So go to that site right here. If you didn't write it down already, and take her quiz. And then there's 12 archetypes that you could be. Like I said, mine's royalty. There's like a lover and I don't even know, there's a whole bunch of different ones, but it's going to spit out a whole bunch of information about your brand and how to market to your audience. It'll give you the brand colors that you could be picking from. And then they even give you some ideas for fonts, which is funny because this is exactly what I'm using. I use like a script brush, and then I use that plain, basic, simple text. So I love it. Love, love, love that. So go do that. Okay. So for me, all right. Okay. Where am I going? Okay. So social marketing. All right. So when you make any posts to social media, it's got to be within your brand. Okay. So ask yourself before you post anything, you're like about to, make a post, is what I'm posting within my brand. Okay. Now I'm not saying that has to be a quote and everything about your business. No, I'm not saying that, but okay. I'm going to tell you what my brand is. For me, Kristin Korn I'm a girl mom. So I have 2 girls. I juggle multiple businesses, so I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a supportive wife to my husband's college coaching career. I have a love for travel. That's part of our big why. I love the motivational and inspirational quotes. I have a passion for design. My color palette is that gold and then the sheep textures and the pastellies, nothing too bold. I talk a lot about our Team 2K and our Follow Our Arrow. And then time freedom. I love doing what I want when I want. No one controls me. I can stand on my own 2 feet. So that's kind of 10 categories. So these are, I always think of these like my bubbles around me. And that's what I post about on social media. I hardly ever post something that does not fall in one of those 10 bubbles. So when you post, you also need to share vulnerability. Most people lack that authenticity. Some people get lazy. They might like a post and they'll copy and paste it, and on their day they'll go. But you have to stop that. You have to share you. People want you. They don't want some random post that's showing up 5 times in their timeline with the exact same text and the exact same image. Everyone wants to see your entire package, whatever that is, the good, the bad, the ugly. If you find a quote on Pinterest, I am not going to share that exact same image. I like the quote, but I'm going to put that quote, like you just saw on my marketing images, on my template. That's me. So I'm going to make it my brand. So on my colors and my fonts and my logo, and I have a website, not saying go do a website, but just your name could be like your logo, Kristin Korn. So I'm going to explain, what that quote means to me, and I'm going to get personal about it in my post. Okay. So your audience wants that one-on-one level with you. They don't want to copy and paste. Okay. So a great way to share your personal stories, is to share them when you get out of them. Everyone's kind of had like our highs and lows in life and financial issues and whatever, but if you can share your own case study about how you got out of that situation or how you got out of that bad skin. We do this all the time with personal before and after products, personal products before and afters. And we need to do this more with our Rodan & Fields journey. I think I do it a lot. I'm sure everyone else does. In our head, we always make excuses why, like, oh, we shouldn't share that picture or that image or that quote. I might hurt someone's feeling. Maybe it's too aggressive. Maybe I'm being too buoyant. But if that's the way you're feeling and that's your brand, that's you, you want people to see inside of you. So in that video, I hope you guys all watched it, that Simon Sinek TED video. Remember, the why is before the what. So we always have to tell stories. So what are your hard battles? Because whatever they are, they're going to inspire other people. You aren't trying to reach the entire world, just the target people that we went over in part 1. Okay. And always remember, and I love it, love it, love it. People don't buy what you do. They do why you do it. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Okay. So he talks about how Apple, is more innovative in their marketing, but they're just a computer company with the same resources as everyone else. What makes them different? It's that golden circle, because they talk about the why, then the how, and then the what. Okay. Everyone knows what you do. You're a Rodan & Fields consultants. You offer skincare. Most know how, maybe they'll read an ingredient list or know a little bit about our products. but no one hardly knows why, okay? So maybe it's not for the profit, but what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? What's happening in your life? Why do you get out of bed? And why are you still working this business? And why should anyone care? That's when we have to dig deep. So all, these leaders that, are inspiring people, all they're doing is sharing their why before the how and the what, okay? It's like that inside out. So that needs to be what you do, okay? So if you saw my post today, I shared this post on my wall. And I get really emotional about this post because I don't like looking at it, honestly. So let's say we're going to promote Unblemished, okay? And of course, we grab a before and after picture and maybe say how it's the #1 premium acne brand in the country. It's a 4-step regimen. Okay, well, that's the what. Well, why should people care? Well, maybe because it uses a special formula in our dual chamber with our great sulfur wash and has multi-med therapy. Okay, well, that's the how. But what's the why? So maybe it's because people don't like the way they feel with acne. Okay, keep going deeper. Why? Why? Keep asking why until you peel away everything else. Okay, so maybe people are embarrassed because they have acne. Okay, why? You know what I mean? And then for me, it's because I don't ever want my kids to come up to me again and say, Mommy, what are those owies on your face? Okay, now that's the why. That brought a human factor to your audience about Unblemished because someone out there will be able to relate exactly to that feeling. So that's the exact post I just made today about Unblemished. I wasn't saying like, oh, go buy Unblemished. I just told my story, very real, very raw. And that is, that's the why. So every time you make a post, try to find the why. Stop saying the what. Find the why. And maybe you can sometimes post about the how, because we have incredible ingredients, but post about the why first and include, the how and maybe hashtags or something, whatever. But it's very hard. That I cried when I was putting that post together today, honestly. So not everyone is going to have those moments, but dig deep. You're going to feel very vulnerable, feel the fear and do it anyway, is what they say. You just have to build your confidence, always be transparent, and then dig to find the deepest why. Okay. So most of the time we just make up that fear in our head anyway. We build them up to be bigger than they are. And the more you do it though, there's always gonna be a little fear, but it becomes more comfortable. And the other thing is that you can't make a post like that and sit around and watch like, okay, it's 20 minutes, I only have 2 likes. Okay, it's been 40 minutes, I have 10 likes. No, you post it and you walk away because there's no expectation of the outcome. Who cares how many likes it gets? I can post something about my kids and it gets 80 likes, and I can post something like that and it gets 30 likes, but I know I've reached just as many people with that post that saw it, are going to know a little bit more about me, my brand, and my business because of it, even if it doesn't have the same amount of likes. So if you even have to go give yourself a pep talk, whatever, go do it. Okay, so that's kind of a product post example, but the same thing is for a business post. We aren't selling people the business. We share what is going on in our lives, and that sells the business for us. So keep sharing your journey and be so dang specific, you guys. It's those little things like, I share every time I get a stitch fix because people out there would love to get stitch fixed every few months that can't afford it. Or I've even shared one time I get boar's head meat now instead of Sara Lee because, well, boar's head meat is like twice the price. So it's not like, those are kind of big things. Like when you're shopping and you're grocery shopping, those are like the things that come to mind. Like I don't have to worry about prices on that kind of thing anymore. I can have the better meat or whatever, spoil myself with Uggs, in the winter, whatever it is. But, people want to know what you're doing, why you're doing it. Okay. All right. So another one is for the love, please. It starts with you guys. We cannot be Googling Rodin Fields, finding this picture, a random picture you saw on Pinterest. Always use your brand. Okay. Not some clip art or low pixelated graphic. Honestly, when I see that stuff in my timeline, I stop following them because I can't handle that. And you don't have to be so literal, you guys. If you're talking about Renee Fields, you don't have to have a big Renee Fields logo on your post. No, have a picture of your kid, have a selfie, have one of your brand images of the quote you like. Although you're talking about your business in the post, you don't have to be so literal. Please don't do that. Okay. And if you're like, I really want to use like a product image, okay, well, either take one of yourself holding something of the product or go to Renee Fields' 2 Facebook pages. They have awesome graphics. So Renee Fields or the IRF page, great images to share in there. Go to their photos album, grab those pictures, okay? Don't make your own. Don't, for the love, like use a collage maker and use all that stuff, okay? Simple, clear messages. Remember the why before the what. Another thing is Facebook Live. I just started doing this. That is hard. Sarah does it all the time. She started her team pages right when I knew her last year, and I'm like, she's like, you got to do it. You got to do it. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. And now I have it's no big deal going live on my team page, but I've only gone live, I think, once on my personal page, and then I have like a skincare social Facebook page. I've gone a couple times, but I think that's the it thing right now, and that's real, that's raw, you know. And whatever you choose to like master something, you know, whether it's Facebook Live or Instagram or just, you know, maybe just start with the branding on Facebook and Instagram. Pictures like I'm been talking about tonight. You don't have to do them all at once. Just master something and get really comfortable, because you can bring your content from one social media stream to another. Another thing is you have to stop looking at other people's shit. So if you're like, oh, I want to do what she's doing, and maybe, oh, she's doing it better than me. Well, that's the comparison thing. That's, you know, their grass is greener than yours. No. You do what you do, okay? Look at yourself and your stuff and only talk about you. And invest in the person you want to become and the person who you want to be next. I think a lot of times in this business, you know, you always hear that term, fake it till you make it. I used it and I killed it. A couple years ago, you know, I kept talking about when I have $1 million business, or, you know, building my empire, or, you know, still like when retiring my husband from coaching or whatever it is, like you're always looking ahead, you know. And now I come back and say, well, now that I have $1 million business, or, you know what I mean, whatever, but you're always looking forward. Okay. You're not lying, because if you don't quit, you are going to have $1 million business. But you have to be committed to your business, and you have to put your business first. Okay, so that's that. Just commit and put your business first. Okay, so in closing, so take your brand serious. Remember to always ask, is this within my brand before you post? Bring the why before the what every chance you get. And, you know, and even what you learn about your brand, you can bring into your team logo, your team name, and then as you use in your team page. It all should flow together. You know, and I love hashtags. So eventually you're going to come up with, once you realize what your brand tagline is what you really believe in, you're going to come up with short words to turn into hashtags. So, you know, for mine right now, it's, you know, follow your arrow and life with purpose. And that's what I always go back to. It's like, design a life with purpose and do your own thing. Stop, you know, choosing somebody else's arrow to follow. Like, what do you want out of life? And that goes along with that reflection PDF that we launched at the beginning of this class. It's like, what's your bucket list? What do you want out of life? So that's what I have for tonight. Everything that I talked about, I'm going to post on our team page. So I have all the links to those fonts. I'll post the link to this archetype. But your homework or whatever is to do that archetype. And underneath my post a snapshot of what your survey says, that what type you are, okay? And then I want you to just gradually, this is going to be a gradual journey for you guys. This isn't something that I just like popped in and was like, oh, I'm going to choose this, this, and this. It's just all developed, probably in the last 6 months, honestly. So just be really aware of what you like and things you like. And even if you look in my office, which is so crazy, it's all the, my daughter's crying outside. It's all the gold and the pastels that I have in here that all go back to my brands before I even like built my brand images. Oh, the last thing too, Canva, canva.com. Use that site. That is where I make all these images. I have the paid version, but the free version is just fine. canva.com. Use it. It is unbelievable. It's a better version on desktop than it is on the app, but you can save all your designs. So if you have your theme and you have your fonts already in there, you just drag in some new stock images, and so everything can look the same. And it has all different sizes in there. So for Instagram or Facebook or headers or whatever, it's unbelievable. If you're not using that site, use that canva.com. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I hope this will help somebody. I wish I could do graphic design for everybody, because I think it could just boost everyone's business. That's how much I truly believe in putting out really solid, clean looking graphics and stand behind your brand. So I'll hop off, and then I'm going to post the links, and then your call to action is to do the archetype, so you can start coming up with your brands and then bring it all together in Canva. All right, thanks guys.